Okay, so guys, here we have the Anurag Khurana. I have been waiting for this opportunity for a very long time. Anurag, please, guys, join me in welcoming Anurag Khurana, the most humble, the most kind, and the most generous man. And I'll tell you why humble in just a moment. So please welcome Anurag Khurana. Anurag, it's an absolute pleasure, man. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you on the show and discuss about your life with a warm cup of tea. What better can we get, man?
Pleasure
Cheers.
all mine. Pleasure all mine.
Anurag, so before we jump into your introduction, your life, and all of that, first I would like to ask you a straightforward question: how are you, man, and how have your 2020 been so far, and how are things, basically?
2020 has been a story of joy and bitterness. I am a guy who loves to interact with people in person. Unfortunately, I have not stepped out of my house since March.
Okay.
So that is the bitter part. But the way gaming has grown up in India, it's been the best thing.
Exactly, man. Exactly. For a gamer, stucking into house is not a big deal.
Exactly. So with my kid, we play. He's 7 year old. So both of us end up spending 4 to 5 hours playing together. So that's the
Oh
best
man.
of the gaming. Otherwise, I used to just meet him over the weekends. But that's part.
Yeah, the only one in the house who will be getting bored is the mom.
So, as I was telling you earlier, she has been cribbing. I have to take care of two kids and two gamers, and second being me, of course. Yeah,
must be
I
must,
not for pain.
you must be receiving a lot of utensils from the kitchen, lad.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, that poster is not. Let me show you one poster that I put up.
Perfect. Sure.
One sec.
Yeah.
So this is the poster I had pasted outside my room.
Keep out gamer at work, killing enemies, beating bosses. Man, enter at your own risk.
Okay, which says enter at your own risk. Keep the food outside. I'll pick it up.
Just like a caddy who is into jail, है ना? खाना
Yeah,
बाहर रख दो, मैं ले लूँगा.
that's okay.
Perfect, Anurag. So, Anurag, congratulations first of all for New Gen Gaming. We'll also come to that about what New Gen Gaming is, but before we proceed further, I would like to tell the audience like how I met you and how I discovered you. So the reason why I said humble to Anurag is because I came across Anurag's profile through LinkedIn. I just dropped him a message that I am just trying to build out connections into the industry and just trying to grow into the industry. Is there anything I could help you with? And if we can discuss it over a call or something. Anurag instantly replied me with his number that you can definitely give me a call. I was not expecting that from a man who has more than 20 years of experience and is like I was not expecting that basically. But I got a chance to have a word with Anurag, and he was so kind, he was so humble, and it was again, it was every time I talk with him, it's such an honor. And then after a few months, I decided to launch this podcast to this show to build up my connections into the industry and share knowledge with the audience. Basically, the primary goal, which is to share knowledge with the audience. So yeah, that's how I discovered Anurag, and we had our first conversation. Again, such a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
That is all mine, Akshay. See, I'm game for anybody who's helping the ecosystem at large, which I
Oh.
thought you are. So here I am.
Yeah, and there must be a lot of people like me who's trying to grow himself into this space, and that was the primary reason I wanted to start this show. Maybe I can present their side of questions and topics which you can answer, and we can help them to grow into the space. So the first question, Anurag. So for all those who don't know who Anurag Khurana is, if you can just give a short, brief introduction about yourself and your life, it would be great.
So my introduction, which I give for Anurag Khurana, he's just a fellow gamer. So
Oh, perfect.
don't go by what I have done in career. That is all bullshit. But So a lot of people, when I joined Riot, they used to say, "Hey, Mr. Anurag sir." I said, "Don't call me sir." That is the first point. Second,
Oh, man.
that's who I am. So basically, I
Yeah.
graduated in '94, did BSc. Then 94 only I joined my dad's business, which was in
Okay.
consulting. But then I realized very soon that a 21-year-old guy doesn't gel with all the people with white hair telling them what to do. So I left that business in 2 years. I said, Dad, I need to do something which fits to with my profile. So I started a system integration company where we were doing networking back in '96. So that is my introduction to computers, and I've been gamer since '86, man. I've I've been brought up playing games, and that was thanks to my dad and my mom also supporting it at that time. They said it's okay. He's at least not doing all the stuff which other kids are doing. He's at least sitting at home. So that was their inspiration. Then '99, I got into gaming, and I was third company in India to get into gaming back then. With my other than me, it was two of my old friends who one has come back to gaming, that is Vishal Gondal, and other was Rajesh Rao from Dhuva. So three of us started gaming in '99, and all three in different territories. Dhruva was based in Bangalore, Vishal was based in Mumbai, and I started my company in Delhi.
Okay.
So that was my entry into gaming industry. But yeah, the funny incident which I like to share from that time. So we were hiring kids. I still call them kids. They have become real big guys in their own respect right now in terms of their careers also. But for me, they will always be kids. And I hired one guy, and he said, "Can you come and talk to my mom and dad?" So I went there, went to his house in person, and discussed with the kids. He said, "No, no, that is okay. But what are you gonna pay him?" I said, "To work in my company, to develop games and all that stuff. That is all okay. But what are you gonna pay him?" I finally gave up. Of course, he joined me, and his name was Gautam Singh. But that is the period that is the zone I'm coming from, where we had to convince the people who wants to work with me to convince their parents, please let them work. We are not doing anything illegal. To the extent we used to call ourselves as a gaming company, but back then the issue was a couple of my guys were not getting married. So we started calling ourselves as entertainment software developers. Then yes, the word software developer in '90s was software developer was the keyword. So that's how they got married. So we rebranded ourselves quite a bit. Then in 2001, I was lucky enough to work with Reliance Infocom back then as a CEO of Paradox Studios, which was their internal venture, which used to develop games for the web and mobile phones back then. Then in 2007, I joined a Activision-owned company called Red Octane,
Okay.
which was basically the developer and publisher for a big title back then. It was called Guitar Hero, where you had a physical guitar and you used to play game using that.
Wow.
Then, unfortunately, I took a sabbatical for 10 years from gaming. I got into a line of doing ICT projects. Okay.
Okay.
So
And
then,
what is that? I'm so sorry.
one sec, yeah. Some of my laptop is not charging. Let me fix that. One sec.
Perfect.
Yeah, now it is. Thanks. So ICT is basically setting up information and communication networks for smart cities. So
Okay.
for 10 years I did that, and I was lucky enough to be part of the first smart city in India, which is in Gandhinagar. It's called Gift Smart Tech City.
Gift City. Oh,
Gift
I am
City.
based out of Gandhinagar.
Yeah, so the Gift
Okay.
City has done all the data and video voice network by my company.
Oh, great, Anurag. Great to know that. Yeah.
For 10 years. Then surprisingly, I got a call from somebody said, we are representing Riot and Riot wants to hire a country manager. Are you interested? I said, number one, I don't know what Riot is. Okay. So
Seriously. Yeah, back at that time.
listen to the story. So he said, I
Yeah.
said, if you can give me the brief, then they told me about Riot. I said, which is the title? They said, League of Legends. I said, I've never heard even of the title. Can you be more specific? What is the genre? Then they say it's a MOBA. I said, now I know the reason. I tried to play Dota. Dota was such a toxic community. I said, I am not gonna play any MOBAs. Was the reason I didn't know about League. But once I started playing League, I really enjoyed the game, really loved the concept, loved the bonding, and to the extent, without telling anyone that I'm sitting for this interviews, I just made friends on Facebook. I remember there was a page called League of Legends India on
Mhm.
Facebook. That's how I made friends, and we used to play from midnight till 6 a.m. every day. And I
Man.
fell in love with the game and the community for that. That I said, yeah, I need to be part of that. And luckily, I was country manager for Riot for a year. Then I joined Geo as head of esports. Then I had been consulting Paytm for a year, and now started my own company.
Yes, New Gen Gaming. So, Anurag, tell us a little bit more about what the company is about and what are your primary goals and focuses.
So, New Gen Gaming is basically a esports company, but the focus for New Gen Gaming is gonna be on the grassroots level esports, because the way I look at it, India jumped into the bandwagon of professional esports at the start only. There's not been enough development at the amateur level or at the collegiate level. So the mission at New Gen is that we have to get the maximum participation. Number one, for esports players, convert people who are just enjoying the games to actually look at esports as a viable career option and grow in the ecosystem. And I strongly believe that if we to address it to the masses, amateur esports is the way to go. So that is the primary goal. But apart from that, yes, we'll be creating content around esports in this venture. So that's where we are till now. As you know, I just announced this venture on 4th, which is like 2 days back when we're recording. So everything is not in detail, but this is the overall goal, if you ask me.
I get it. Perfect. It sounds really awesome with New Gen Gaming. I'm looking forward to seeing what New Gen Gaming does in the future,
Yeah.
and maybe possibly I can help you with anything.
You
Yeah.
have to be part of the journey, man. I'm sure. Part of
Yes. So, Anurag, apart from the professional experience, which we'll discuss in detail in just a moment, how did your childhood look like? Childhood and high school basically looked like, and what was your education basically? What you studied?
it was gaming only. My dad got me a Sega Mark 5, which was a Japanese console back in 86, 87, I think. And to the extent all the instructions for the game were in Japanese. Luckily, I knew somebody who could translate that Japanese into English. So
Okay.
before my school used to start at 8 a.m. So I used to get up at 7 a.m., play for 1 hour, go to school, come back home, and then just sit and play. That was my childhood. So it was all about games. So that's why I said the best part for me is that I'm working in a field where my childhood hobby is my business. So that's why I don't get tired. I work like 18 hours a day right now also. I don't feel tired because I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what you need to focus on. Yeah, if you love something, there's no week off, there's no time off. It's just that.
Yeah, true. So basically, that's what my journey was. To the extent when I even did my graduation I did my graduation from Chandigarh. So we moved back in '91. So my primary education has been in Chandigarh, Bhopal. When I wanted to do college, Dad moved back to Delhi, and I've been always a small town kid. I couldn't adjust into Delhi. So I went
Okay.
back to Chandigarh, did my graduation from Chandigarh, DAV College, Punjab University, and even while I was there, since I was so fond of computers, I had somehow managed a PC at my home, and I used to earn money by doing projects for computer science guys. So
Okay.
for all my college fees, I didn't take money from home. I earned my own money, paid my fees, and that's how I am here.
Man, huge respect for that. Because this is the thing that most of the young generation guys suffer. I mean, so one thing I can figure out is, Anurag, your family side, nobody, there was no, particular restriction or something like that regarding gaming, you playing games or pursuing career into that.
Yeah, there was no restriction. Like as I said, my parents were very happy that I they knew that I'm playing games, but they were happy I'm sticking at home. Okay,
Okay.
so there was no restriction, and they were very encouraging of that. To the extent, in '99, I was supposed to go to US to work in a company which used to do work for NASA and Pentagon. But at the last moment, Dad convinced me that, hey man, you love gaming. I will help you get into gaming. So he introduced me to a friend of his. They were from the hotline group, and their kid wanted to start something. So I said, let's get into this. And that's how Netlinium Technologies was born in '99. That's how I got into gaming. So to the extent to hold me back, he said, you get into gaming. I know this will hold you back in the country.
Okay. So your father actually, figured out a weak point of yours.
Mine, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Because this is the situation for most of the guys in India. Like back at that time, supporting gaming is something. Don't you think? Which is it's like something which is exceptional because at this point of time also I have found like a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasts who struggle with this particular thing that their family is not supportive, responsive, and there are certain reasons behind that, but still we have this situation in India.
Things have changed. Like right now, games development is not a dirty word that it was in '99, as I
Okay.
discussed earlier. But yeah, but right now, people are happy that their kids are working in gaming industry in India. Yes,
Mhm.
playing games, making career out of that right now the blockheads from parents is of the same level where in '99 they were not really understanding what does it means to work in the gaming industry per se. So yeah,
Yes, definitely.
it's a vicious circle, man.
True. Right. So, Anurag, that's about your childhood, about your high school. I mean, how after high school did you transition into gaming, choosing gaming as a profession? Like, when was that point when you realized that this is when I'm going to start?
So that was actually happened in '99, and as I said, it was a carrot thrown by my dad that to hold me back in the country. He said, "Why don't you do something in gaming in India?" I said, "Really? Now, when I've got everything done for my going to US, then of course emotional blackmail and all that thing came into the." So for me, getting into gaming was coincidence. Okay, but
Okay.
I look at it more from the part of that it was my destiny to be in the gaming, and that's where I have been. So, though I've been working in gaming directly or indirectly associated with gaming for last 21 years, out of which 10 years I took a sabbatical where I was part of New Gen ITS, where I was doing the project in there. But at back of my mind, it was always like, how do I get back to gaming? That's my first love. So, and here I am now.
Perfect. So about your professional experience, Anurag, when did you got a call from your first major client? I mean, a major company to work with. There was Riots, I guess. So when you got a call from Riots? How?
That was 2017, but before that, what gave me the big exposure in gaming was Reliance in 2001. So
Oh,
really, yeah. In '99, I started my own company, and 2001, Reliance said, "Hey, we are getting into telecom space, and we want people like you to drive the gaming strategy for us." That was my first call. So I attribute all my success or what I am today to Reliance Infocom at that time, the company that was, and that was my first getting into big league in gaming. Then, of course, it was Riot calling me again. So second birth was at Riot for me, which was in 2017, and surprisingly, my interview process was close to 8 months.
8 months of interview. Are you serious? And what was like? What exactly were there in the interview?
So I had close to 15 rounds, which were on video conferencing. Of course, spread across the whole thing, and then I was invited to US, and I had 8 face-to-face rounds in one day. So it was close to 15 rounds, but it was it was a journey, and somehow that has been my hiring policy also in any company I worked since Riot, because they do their valuation based on that. What is your empathy towards gaming? Are you a gamer yourself or not? Like, though they don't claim it, but Riot is one company which I see has experience, which is by gamers and for gamers, which I now understand after my interview process at Riot, that they are very cautious in hiring. So hiring the manpower for them, and surprisingly, which now makes sense, they don't have a HR department. They call it talent department, because they believe that every guy working at Riot is a talent for them.
Okay.
And they are very clear. It's always top-down hiring. They first get the country manager, then country manager hires his team, then that team hires their team.
Wow.
Which was brilliant. So that's why it took almost 8 to 9 months. So my process started in June, and I finally got onboarded in January.
Okay. Quite a bit of journey, yeah.
As Indians, we are not used to that long of a process. So after 2 months, I had given up. I said, it happens or not, but at least when I interact with my folks at Riot, I'm at least talking to gamers. Okay. That was one part. And secondly, I enjoyed League of Legends so much that every night I used to play for 5 to 6 hours. My wife used to say, what are you doing? Honey, I'm researching the game. So there was no resentment from that side also. She said, what are you researching? I said, it's about community. It's about all the bullshit I used to give to her. But now she knows what I was all about. It was about playing League of Legends.
Yes, this is the same reason we used to give to our parents when I was in high school, basically. Yeah.
So back at Paradox, which was the Reliance Group company, I used to get games home, and my wife used to ask me, what are you doing? Honey, I'm testing the games. That is part of my job. I'm testing. And she never figured out that we were a mobile game development company, and I used to play all the games on the console. She never figured out that I'm not actually testing. But yeah, that's how we smart the gamers are, man.
Yes. So are you a console gamer, a hardcore console gamer, a hardcore PC gamer, or a mobile?
Unfortunately, no. I only played console games on my. I'm a Sony fan. Okay. PS fan. I did play on PS2 and PS3 quite a bit, but though I have a PS4, I have switched it on, and I got that PS4 like 2 years back. I have just personally switched it on for one time because work took over. So that was a funny story again. So as I told you, while I was interviewing for Riot, I used to play League of Legends for 6 hours every day. But as soon as I joined, I couldn't play. Real life took over. So I used to hate the part that I'm still not interviewing. I don't get time to play League of Legends, but that's how it is. So of course, I've been a PC gamer quite a bit. That has been my whole journey. But right now, I'm stuck on my iPad, man.
Oh, is it? Great. About that, yes, we have like gaming has evolved to a level where you can just jump into a professional league or something just through your phone. What do you think about mobile esports in India, Anurag?
So India, I was a purist. I said mobile esports doesn't make sense, but then you have to also look at the fact that India is a mobile first country.
Yep.
Where everybody has a mobile device. They might have a PC at home, but that's a shared device across the house. Whereas mobile is an individual device. So yes, mobile esports is here. is gonna stay and is gonna be big in India. Courtesy all the great work which Tencent has done in the past and now Grina is doing for mobile esports. Hats off to them. They have brought it the mobile esports in the mainstream. One minor issue which I always had, that number of titles available for mobile esports are quite less. But with new publishers coming into the foray, like uh, Riot is also into mobile esports right now with Legend of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, with Wild Rift, and couple more titles coming across. So they also realize that India, Southeast Asia, China, South Asia, this is a big market for mobile. So traditionally, if you look at it, America has been predominantly a PC market.
Yeah.
Uh, Europe is predominantly a console market, and of course, Japan is a console market. Then Korea, which is a big market for esports, it traditionally been PC market. They realize that for India, South Asia, China, and a lot of Southeast Asia, mobile esports is the way to go.
Yes. Is New Gen taking any will be taking any actions towards mobile esports in
So
future?
we are gonna be platform independent. We will be in mobile esports for grassroots, that is for sure. But yes, we will do across the platforms, whether it's mobile, whether it's console, whether it's PC. Since we have to cater to amateur, yes, mobile will play a very pivotal role, but we are not limiting to mobile.
Yes, perfect. Sounds great. Sounds great. So, Anurag, after like I have researched a lot about your experiences, and the Paradox Studios is something that was into that. I would like to know more about Paradox Studios, especially the rain struck incident. I'm really
Oh,
excited to know what was that, man.
you gotta bring old memories back. Luckily for me, that was one day I personally didn't go to office because my
Oh
daughter
man.
was ill, so I took her to doctor, and the head of HR and admin at Paradox Studios was a guy by the name of Pankaj Chopra. So I called Pankaj, that Pankaj, I will be 1 hour late. He told me that, sir, you don't come right now because it's raining very heavily, and we are also planning to shut the office and go back home. I said, cool. I stayed back at home. Then, of course, rain struck real bad. I think it was sometime in June or July, if I remember the date correctly. And after 3 days, I get call from Pankaj, sir, and the whole network, electricity, everything was switched off across Mumbai because of the rain. So I couldn't even check the status of those guys. But 3 days later, he called, sir, we all are well, and I'm happy that you didn't come to office, but we survived. They for 2 days they slept outside in the porch of our office, and that was the office which was our office and the whole Reliance Bombay Circle office.
Okay.
So, but and I said, what did you do about food? They said, no. Lucky's was our favorite joint. He said Lucky was good enough to send us, I think, 80 biryanis on that day. It rained so bad. So he said finally he reached home after walking for, I think, almost 4 hours.
Damn.
That was, and I really felt bad. I should have been with my guys
Exactly, man.
just for the sport purpose, but yeah, that was the part. So yeah, that was, so I still hear the stories from those guys, and I get goosebumps hearing those stories. But
Man, you
these
you
guys,
you missed out. You missed out big time. Yeah, man.
if you look at the pictures, we had couple of girls. They are sitting there, like you could see that tiredness on their faces because we were the kind of a bunch of kids who would, you get 1 hour free, you would play the game. And unfortunately, there was no electricity in the office. You couldn't even play a game. So I had all the sympathy for them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you might have been regretted a lot after
Yes,
missing
I
that.
did. I did. Irony for me was I was stuck at my home with my wife with no electricity. So that was the sad part for me. I would have rather spent that time with all these young friends from my office, stuck is okay, without legs is okay, but at least there would be some entertainment mechanism.
Exactly. Yeah. uh, I hope she's not listening right now.
Also, I'm good. That's why he's speaking so freely and loudly, man. Yeah, when it comes out, then I'm gonna get a little bit of beating or whatever you wanna call. But that's I'm ready for that.
Yeah, yeah. Also, when I was looking for your pictures, but I couldn't find you in any of the pictures. I mean, I was surprised, like, this is the only album this guy has on his Facebook profile, but he is not there. So this was the scene. Okay, now I can figure. Yeah. Great, Anurag. Great. That must have been a great incident. Uh, Anurag, that brings me to another question. What was the, you have had a long journey, this 21 years. What was the major struggles that you faced as a gamer, or as a person, in this whole 21 years of journey?
Struggles, really, I don't. I generally look at I'm an optimist, man. Any struggle, I look at the bright side of it. So if you want to point out any struggle, I don't think so. I had any struggle per se which comes to my mind. But yeah, stuff like initially getting to hire the kids, that was one struggle I had. Secondly, as the education system in India is such that we believe in creating the journalist. Okay, whereas for gaming purposes, we need specialists in one area. That somehow recruitment always has been a not a struggle but a hard work for me. Okay, so
Okay.
that's why I am very clear. I will not hire you by your degree. I will hire you after talking to you. That has been always my philosophy in my life, which has helped me create great teams at Paradox, at Geo, at Riot, and at Paytm. And I hope the same thing happens in New Gen Gaming. So overall, I don't see any struggle. The industry has been going year on year. Yes, the only one regret I have that every from '99 we have always been saying that next year gaming is gonna be here, but somehow something or the other happens and all the projections are down the drain. Yeah,
Oh, man.
the golden moment is yet to come for Indian gaming. But
It
then
is.
it's again a question of expectations and reality. Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. But I am very happy with my journey. I have not really encountered any hardships which I have not been able to turn into opportunities. That's the way I look at it.
Perfect, perfect. That's great. That's great, man. But not struggles in maybe it might not be a struggle with you personally, but it can be a struggle for somebody else who is still trying to make it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was the whole point
Yeah.
of the question. Yeah. So Anurag, what was the point when you think that this was the third turning point for your life, especially into the professional world?
uh, two points I would consider as a turning points. One was being part of Reliance. So when I joined Reliance, they told me just think there are no restrictions. Then go create the ecosystem. Okay,
Okay.
that was the eye opener for me because being an entrepreneur all through my life from start, I was always very cautious. Used to do the SWOT analysis and then look at how do I take care of the threats. But at Reliance, that was one free hand which was given to me, and that has been our success rate even at Reliance as a Paradox Studios. Second major turning point was Riot because Riot was very clearly been out of industry for a decade, then get a chance to be part of the industry as a country manager, and that too for a country like company like Riot. That was so. These two are my turning points till now. If you really ask me of my 21-year journey.
Yep. So how was your tenure with working as a country manager with Riots? I mean, how
It
has
was
it been?
brilliant.
And yeah.
It was brilliant. The amount of learning that I've been able to get at Riot that just changed my outlook. Like I had to unlearn everything that I've done in my past 16 or 17 years. and then relearn at Riot because international company, a very successful, established product already, and I like the policies at Riot, man. That is what I've always taken it forward. Try to implement the same kind of policies, strategies across other businesses that I've been doing. So that was brilliant. Yeah, the only minor issue was that not an issue, but yeah, the only struggle at Riot was that I was called at LA corporate office very frequently, like sometimes twice a month.
Okay.
No regrets. See, the best part is since I said Riot, everybody was a gamer, and so anybody you could talk anything about gaming. It was not necessary you have to talk about League of Legends only. Like I remember one of the interviews I had, that 1 hour interview, we basically discussed Dark Souls for the game. That was the whole interview. So he just checked my CV. He said, "Hey man, I see you love playing Dark Souls." I said, "Yeah, that's one of my favorite titles." We spent 1 hour discussing why it's my favorite title, what changes I think we could do in that. So that was one round of interview. That's why Riot was such a great environment that anytime you need to discuss anything about any game, you have people around to talk for that. So yeah, man, that was the best part. So I tried. It was unlearning everything that I've learned till now. Of course, taking the best practices, best things that I've done, and creating it, doing it from scratch. So it was great, man.
Definitely, definitely, man. It's still a dream role for a lot of
Yeah.
us, you know.
So I'm still a writer at heart, and the reason I say so, I still wear my Riot jacket.
Man, wow, this is so cool. And especially traveling to LA office with
Yeah.
and meeting riots, man.
So
How was the
first,
experience when you first time visited the LA office?
that's what I was coming to. So the first induction or my first meetings I tried LA office, I was asked to come there for 45 days, where it was heading. So we had a thing called DNoob, okay, which is the training for 1 week for any new Riot employee, and it is same training which is imparted on all the employees, whether it's a country manager or whether it's a graphic artist or anything else, which was the
Okay.
best experience that I encountered. They were like 14 or 16 people across the globe sitting in one room 1 week, just turning out ideas, discussing, getting to know the history of Riot, doing exercise together. So that was my first introduction into Riot. Then of course I had to stay back for a month, basically to do make a strategy for India along with our international team. So where I got to meet all the relevant stakeholders for projects in India. So I met the player sports head, esports guys, and all those guys, and that's where I realized, man, esports definitely is the way to go. And since then I decided to make my career in esports and retire from esports in India, which is, by the way, in the next 4 years. I'm very clear. If when I turn 50, I'm gonna retire and just play games. So that is my retirement plan. Just take it forward all the 4 years of not playing games. That's what I'm gonna do after 50.
Yeah, man. Yeah, while you're working, it's really hard to find a time to play like hardcore gaming.
Yes. So I'm used to. I'm a kind of a guy who would. I'm a basically RPG guy. I love playing role-playing games, and I would
Okay.
sessions would last anything between 12 to 14 hours continuously playing one game. Just making it sure that I reach this level, and that's when I will leave the game. So 12 to 14 hours is a normal gameplay time for me. Used to be normal gameplay time for me. I wish I get that time again, but definitely after 50, that's what I'm gonna do.
Perfect. Sounds awesome, man. I think we'll be playing some games together too. But I'm really not sure if you still like MOBA. I mean, I'm a Dota player, man.
I love MOBA. And see, the beauty of MOBA is that playing with friends. I don't like solo queue. I trust.
Exactly.
I
No,
don't
no,
like.
no, no.
So I did solo queue, but once I met this young guys who were half my age with whom I used to play League of Legends, and they had not seen my face. It's only when we did a get together before I joined Riot because I wanted to get their opinion about the game. So we
Yeah.
did a meetup. That's when they came to know, sir, you are old. I said, yeah, man, what the fuck? Yeah.
Correct.
So, so these are all 20-year-old year-old kids who, and the best part is the community, the engagement, to the extent when I used to play the game, and you know how all the MOBAs are that you get on the abusing mode. Why didn't you revive me? Why didn't you use that ultimate, etc.? You get all.
Ultimate, yeah.
To the extent my wife, of course, during this period, my wife kicked me out of our room. He said, "You don't go sleep downstairs." So I've been staying downstairs, and even I used to get so loud. My voice is anyways loud, but I used to get so loud. She would once a week she would come down. Whom are you fighting with? I said, who? Me? We are playing a game. Can you at least cool it a bit? I said, yeah, I will try to. She would
I
go
will
up,
try to.
will be again back to the normal.
Yeah, man, yeah. I can figure when I used to actually bunk college. My 4 years of engineering college I have spent just into gaming cafes, nothing
Okay.
else. And there was a shop just below our gaming cafe, and that guy used to daily come on like running on the fourth floor, and then he'll shout, "Hey, kya kar rahe ho? Itna chilla rahe ho? Kya lad rahe ho?" And it was full of galis and everything.
I know the feeling. I know because you get so involved, those guys become your friends, so you're chilling.
Exactly, man, exactly. And especially when before corona, man, everything was like, when everything was normal, you can actually go into a cafe and sit besides your friends and do that. It's kind of difficult right now to do it, but it was really fun, man. The
Sure.
playing Dota with friends is
Yeah.
yeah. So, Anurag, about something about you have like more than 21 years of experience. You have seen a lot of stuff. So, one wise man named Jack Ma from Alibaba. Well, so he has said that you should always learn from successful people's mistakes rather than from their success stories. So I would like to ask you this question, Anurag, is what were the biggest mistake that you think that you have made through your entire life, be it small or big, whatever it is, that we could learn something from? Yeah, and what are the lessons maybe we could?
Uh, uh, Mistakes that I have made in my career, one was definitely moving out of gaming industry and going to non-gaming industry. Trust me, it was a big mistake, but due to whatever personal stuff, I had to do that. That is one big mistake I've done because I can truly see if I would have stayed back, if only I could turn back time and spend those 10 years in gaming industry, my life would be, I wouldn't be doing the struggles I'm doing right now. So that definitely is one. But I think apart from that, I think you have to ask my contemporaries really what mistakes I've done rather than me answering anything on that side. I would rather ask you to get couple of my friends on board, couple of my competitors on board. I would like to understand from them what mistakes I've done and how I can fix it. But I'm very clear that for me, number one, my hiring strategy is very clear. I want people better than me to run my business. That's one
Okay.
thing I'm very clear from beginning, that if the guy is not better than me, then he's not gonna add value to me as an individual. So that is one clear philosophy I've always done. Second is that especially in gaming or any business that you do, if you're not open to new ideas, you can never reach the your own potential. Like I'm always clear that, hey man, this is what I think. What's your opinion? And if we disagree, we will not get out of the meeting till either you make me agree or I'll make you agree. But it's not enforcing what my beliefs are, because everybody has a great idea somewhere. If you don't have guys who have better ideas, that goes to my first point, is that you need to hire guys better than you to do that specific stuff, then you trying to implement. Yes, you can give them guidance, you can give them your vision, but those are the guys who are gonna actually implement that. So these is my two philosophies. I know I'm not answering the question you have asked,
No,
but
no worries.
has been my philosophy in life that always hire better people than you. Number two, don't get into doing that for which you can get a better guy to do. And number three, don't leave a conversation in between. Either get convinced or convince him. That has been my mantra of working in my career. And always, not from today, from 95 or 96, 2 years into the career when I started my own company, this has been my mantra to basically do that. Yeah, there are two different people. You're gonna have different opinion, but you have to leave the room once it has been settled how you're gonna do that thing. That's how I work.
Perfect. So from this, what I can figure out, Anurag, is that you're trying to say you should, if you would have been into the industry for that particular 10 years, then the scene would be something different. So what I can learn from this is you should stick to what you want to do and what you love doing. That's what basically.
Exactly.
Perfect. That sounds great, and that inspires me to some level to keep doing this what I'm doing. So thank you so much, Anurag, for that.
I really loved your idea so much, Akshay. I said, hey man, I have to be part of it, no matter when, how. I have to be part of it.
Definitely, man. I would be, again, it would be an honor, man. Yeah, 21 years of experience, and a guy who is not only because of his experience, of course, but because he's a very good human being. I mean, I truly must say, Anurag, I
Thanks,
get
man.
this vibe
All the
from
work you do. Because this is our second interaction in the whole period, so it means a lot when it comes to a person like you.
Thank you, Anurag. So as I told you, as soon as I decided that I would be doing this show, I didn't named it, but I did had an idea that I'll be doing something like this too. Because I love interacting with people, and especially somebody who is more knowledgeable and more experienced than me. I just love it. So the very first name that came into my mind was Anurag Khurana. I no
My
second
pleasure.
thoughts. Yeah. So here we are, and I'm totally enjoying this. Yeah. So, Anurag, as we are discussing esports and we belong from esports industry, so let's discuss esports a little bit. So, for everybody who is watching, how would you summarize esports? What is esports?
So, yes, a lot of people have a lot of different definitions, but the way I look at esports, that it's a sporting event where we use computer games as the tool to do that sporting event. Yes, it is multiplayer, competitive, watchable. These are the attributes I put for any esports title, but it's like any traditional sports, but here instead of using bat, ball, racket, or anything else, we're using computer game as a mechanism to play that sport.
Perfect. So you mean it's just like a traditional sports, but on a more digital side of it? Yeah.
That's why we call it esports.
Perfect. Yeah. So, Anurag, what do you think? Like, is the current scene for esports in India, basically Indian esports? So, what would you say about esports in India right now at this particular moment?
I think we are at the we have not even scratched the whole complete surface. That's the way I look at it for Indian esports.
Okay.
The potential is huge, but we are just touch the tip of the iceberg. That's the way I look at it, because look at the population in India, especially look at the youth population in India. Look at the access to mobile devices in India.
Oh man.
Are we able to utilize the whole potential? No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. I would say the answer is not no, but not yet. That's why the vision I've created for New Gen Gaming is to take it to the masses, do it at the amateur level, do it at the collegiate level, make esports inclusive with the collegiate, like where I'm coming from. Like you have cricket team, football team, table tennis team. For colleges, I want all colleges to have esports teams also.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is my vision, which is, I know it's very challenging thing, but I think right now is the time we have to get this started and see where it takes.
Yeah. So if we talk about apart from country, like apart from India, like international countries they already have a system in high school. Yeah. So if we can get that into India, that would be just
That
great, man.
would be awesome. That would be really awesome. And see, it is about getting the acceptance from the parents saying that esports is like any other sport. Like if you see today, I know a lot of parents are okay with their kids playing cricket because they see scope of
Yes.
chances of their kid representing cricket in IPL or as a India team. That same kind of visibility we need to make available for the parents with esports also. With the 2022 already being officially announced as a medal event, I think that's the best opportunity. If India gets a medal, not if, when India gets a medal from 2022 Asian Games, that would change the whole outlook. So that's where my vision is.
Okay. And what do you think Indian government is playing the role in promoting esports, and if is there anything that esports government can do better from your perspective?
I think my only humble request from Indian government would be to give esports the same credibility like they are given for all traditional sports. Then it is people like all the tournament organizers, all the brands to grow it in the ecosystem. But right now, in terms of the kids are anyway playing games. Okay, that's not the problem. Participation is not the problem, but giving it a validity, it's like any other sport. If that is the only thing I would request from the government to give to the players, then I think the ecosystem will is already in process.
Yes, right. And if we look at current scenario, like a lot of youngsters and everyone is really upset with the government. They're cursing government for banning PUBG Mobile, but they have their reasons. But yeah, still.
Reasons which I completely agree with the government. I know a lot of people will hate me for making this statement that I respect whatever government is trying to do. I'm
Yeah,
with them on this point of view. But PUBG is not the only esports title, man. I
exactly.
am here for esports, not for any particular game.
Yeah, but if we look at from another perspective, I think that PUBG Mobile was, and at some level, Mobile Legends was another game. Those were the two games that were popular into mobile. I'm finding it difficult to find a game which I can play. I mean, Free Fire is not my cup of. I hate that game personally. Yeah,
I am very happy with whatever work Greena has done, but again, uh, uh, though even PUBG was not my cup of tea, I will be very
yeah,
frank with you. But the way they developed the ecosystem around esports was hats off to Tencent. I think
yeah.
the same way Greena is also moving, but again, though my kid, his favorite game right now is Call of Duty Mobile. Okay,
Oh,
that's what he plays for at least 4 hours a day. He's
yeah.
already in legendary rank for past 2 seasons, and though he's in Bhopal, he's gonna come tomorrow. And he said, "Yeah, 2 weeks is good enough for me to reach legendary in multiplayer and PR." And by the way, he's
Wow.
just 7 years old. He's just 7 years old.
Oh man, great
Yeah, yeah. So
future.
so basically, like people say, "What's in for you for promoting esports?" I said, "I'm doing for my kid and kids like him." So that is my personal. If you ask me why I'm working so hard in esports, is basically to create an ecosystem for my kid and kids like him to make it as a viable profession for them. Yeah. So he's right now playing Call of Duty, but before I introduced him to Call of Duty and PUBG getting banned, he was playing Free Fire. But again, he said, "Yeah, it's a good game. I enjoy it, but I prefer Call of Duty because it becomes on the game style. Since he has grown up playing PUBG, he is more realistic shooter like Call of Mobile rather than Free Fire. But then again, it's something which is very personal choice. But one big advantage for Free Fire is that it even works at low end or medium level handsets. That is the big advantage for Free Fire, which is very important for mass adaptation of any game title. Like the reason I say the success for Valorant also has been that it works on your potato pieces.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So while I was at Riot, I played the pre-alpha of Valorant back then. Of course,
Okay.
it was not called Valorant back then,
Yeah.
but I played that. And when I asked what is the specs, and when they told me specs, I told them this game will work in India, which is the reality today. Because we can't expect, especially I think in India and a lot of other countries where the pocket money is still controlled by the parents. You can't ask a parent for a new graphics card just because you want to play this game.
Yes, right.
So
Correct.
that's
Correct.
the way I look at it. Yeah.
The same thing and the same scenario happened with like Counter Strike when it was first launched, Counter Strike
Yeah.
1.6 and conditions. Yeah, it was like it can work on any device, any PC, and the
Yes.
same thing. Another example, we have Mini Militia on phone. It was a doodle, man, doodle army. What a game, man! But we used to
Exactly.
play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So unfortunately, I never got a chance to play Militia Army or Doodle Army because I was still a PC guy at that time.
Yeah.
But I just once I got into Geo, I said, let me just check the basis where all these battle royale games have come, and I really enjoyed. Though I couldn't really spend so much time playing those games, but I really enjoyed the whole concept, the whole stuff around it, the community around it. My whole essence is that we need to have a very good and strong community around a title to make it a big. That
Yeah.
is what Nintendo has done.
Correct. Correct. So, do you think the game developer companies should, make more of these games which can be easily accessed, like Clash Royale, which is just a pretty simple game, and yeah.
I love Clash Royale. You mentioned something I love. So I have like Clash Royale is a beautiful game, but again, as I was discussing with a game developer today only, I said, "So what's your plan for esports title?" He said, "Sir, you know how things are. We understand that to create a esports title, we need the DevOps team to be continuous. Then we have to come up with updates, etc." I said, "Yeah, that all point is taken." So they said, "Yes, we are studying the market, but we don't have any intentions to release an esports title." He said, "Yes, multiplayer
Okay.
titles we will keep releasing," which I totally agreed. And he was the first developer who I've talked to who said, "We are not a esports title. We are a multiplayer game, but we are not a esports title." And I'm really glad and kudos to this friend of mine who really brought it up. He said, uh, because in last 3 years of my journey, most of our developers come, we have a esports title, and I said, what's the esport in that? And then they talk about they treat RNG also as esports, they treat multiplayer games also as an esport, but esports is a sports where you
Yeah.
need to talk about the balancing part, so many other things. So even the DevOps, you have to make sure servers have to be online all the time. You have to make sure that number of people are available who are queued in the lobby, because as you would agree with me, anytime I used to queue in League of Legends, or you would have done same in Dota, if 5 minutes we didn't get a game, we would cancel and start again,
Yeah.
knowing it will make a difference, but that's the mentality. So on all that aspects, yes, but I think uh, India has a potential for at least creating mobile esports titles. But
Yeah.
I only request developers to take into account that mobile esports is not same as creating a multiplayer mobile title. There are a lot of aspects, game balancing, and all that stuff, which also has to take into account. If you are ready to for a long-term investment into the whole development cycle, I'm game for that. Anybody who needs help in getting some suggestion, etc., you know where to find me.
Yeah. So I heard this particular line in one of the conferences, and the guy said that you cannot just create an esports title like from nowhere. It's not a process of 6 months or a year or a couple of years. It's a continuous development. It's a journey, and then you might can possibly can make into the esports. Yeah.
The best example I tell everyone is right. 10 years they have just worked on one title, which is League of Legends, and that's the reason why
Yeah.
it is so big today.
Correct, man. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every 2 weeks, religiously, they release a patch, a new update, doing the balances, breaking a lot of things, then fixing it over next patch. But it's a total process in itself.
Yep. I'm so eager to try out League of Legends, but
You should. You
yeah, sadly I don't have the required PC specs for now. But
should.
yes, I'm planning
Like
to.
Valorant, League of Legends works on your potato pieces. Trust me.
Seriously? Oh,
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. To the extent I used to play League of Legends initially on my MacBook here, man,
wow.
which is actually a potato pieces for me.
I was
Not
I
even.
was in a perception.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. So I was in a perception that League of Legends is related to it's something like Dota. So I thought that it must require some similar
No,
kind of
no,
spec.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Like even if you don't have a dedicated graphic card, League
Yeah.
of Legends would still work.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm downloading it.
I got one more guy playing League of Legends, so my
Yep.
job. I can't.
I'll be adding
Okay,
you.
I'm off now. Sorry. Go.
Yep, perfect. So, Anurag, talking a lot about esports industry in India. How was it like? How is it? What is the main differences right now and 20 years back? The same industry. Yeah.
Surprisingly, a lot of people don't recognize or recollect, but esports in India has been from 2005, which was run by my good friend called Vishal Gondal. He used to run World Cyber Games. And
Okay.
yesterday only, we were just chatting and he said, let me send you a video. So 2007, the last World Championship, World Cyber Games, he sent a video of that match. So it has been always there, even to the extent it was esports term is almost just 10 years old. So we never used to call it esports back then. We just used to call it competitive multiplayer back then. But India has been had there. But with India Games being sold off to UTV, that part of gaming got stopped. So there was almost a gap till Nodwin came into the picture and started doing esports in India. So
Yeah.
from 2007 to I think 2015 or 16 is when Nodwin came into the picture and they started doing proper esports tournament. And kudos to Akshat for being the torch bearer for esports in India, man. Though we don't. We lot of time we have heated arguments, but I always tell Akshat, all my respect is for you, man, for carrying the torch of esports in India when there was nothing called esports in India.
So, Akshit, can you just throw some light on who Akshit is?
So Akshat Rathi is the founder of Nodwin Gaming, which also does ESPL India Premiership under ESPL banner. Apart from that, he created a couple of more IPs in India. So yeah, though a lot of our concepts are very different, that's okay, but that's on the business side. But personally, all hats off to Akshat for bringing this to life, man.
Yep. So because of Akshit, there are a lot of open doors now to the
Yeah,
esports industry.
like
So
even if it's only looking at whatever great work he has been able to do at Nodwin. We have 8 or 10 medium to big size tournament organizers in India. Sky Sports, the Esports
yeah.
Club, Letonia, even India Today has gone into it. Geo has gone into tournament organizing, but he was the guy who started this esports as a term industry in India. But before that, it was Vishal Gondal who got. It was not called esports, but the concept is same. So hats off to Vishal, man. So yesterday I was talking to Vishal and we were remembering those times when he used to do CG, man.
Yep. I saw him in the comments, by the way. Yeah, and I searched the guy in the photos. I mean,
Great man.
Great.
Like me, Vishal and Rajesh started this industry back in '99. But I'm so glad that Vishal is back in the industry. He also took a sabbatical because of his non-computer, whatever maybe his reason. So he started Goki. But year back, he's also come back to the gaming industry. So we generally joke, both of us have a common joke that the life is a full circle. Look at
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. What goes out comes back, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like you guys really had a strong bonding. So, did you ever plan to do, like something doing or starting something together, like Vishal and the other guy, something like.
So we we were all so happy in our own small space that
Uh,
we were great friends. We were I wouldn't call competitors because a lot of time, a lot of people came back to me when I was at Paradox. Hey man, Jio has got Reliance has got into gaming. Now they will monopolize, and I was like, no. Vishal is developing his own games. Rajesh is developing his own games. I'm developing my own game. If a user likes all three of our games, he's gonna play all three of our games. There's no competition per se.
yeah.
It's it's like releasing a movie, man. You get
Yes.
movies from 10 different producers or directors. We never call it that this movie is competing with this movie. I think
Yeah.
it's the same thing on there. Like even for when I joined Geo, again the same. I used to hear the same things in circle. Hey man, Geo is entering the industry. It will monopolize, and I was like, I think the India is so big a market that even if 5 Geos come, the better it is. The more tournaments we have for the
Yep.
players, better it's gonna be for the ecosystem and for the players. My whole thing
Yeah.
is it should be enough tournaments happening, legitimate tournaments happening for players across the year. That's my ultimate goal.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I thought, you guys are really close. I also, I do this very frequently. I mean, I keep telling my friends, let's do something together. Chalo kuch karte hain aise. So,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So, Anurag, talking about esports back to the track. It's We have talked about the current scenarios, right? So how would you see esports in India growing 5 years down the line? And we also have like, I don't know if the government has decided something like that, but it's there's a rumor that esports will be included in Olympics, is going to be included in Olympics or something. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, seriously, if you asked me 5 years back, I wish I had a gazing ball, and then I would be able to tell you what's happening 5 years ahead. But I generally work on very. I have a long-term vision, but then I set up a quarterly goal, man. I don't believe in looking at 5 years in ahead because if somebody would have told me 5 years back that esports would be a term in India, I would have just laughed. Okay,
Okay.
Tencent, PUBG, Garena, and Supercell also being in India, it's a reality now. But if you look at my long-term vision, I foresee that yes, government will be giving the same status to esports as it has given traditionally to all other sports. That I see happening very soon. Asian Games, yes, it is an event, but so is breakdancing. So
Oh,
yeah, for 2022 Asian Games, new medal events is breakdancing and esports. So uh, listen,
yeah.
this esports is something which is very community driven.
Yes.
Asian Games, yes, it's a good initiative. If it comes in Olympics, yes, it will also be a good initiative. But that has never been the reason for growth of esports till now.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, in India, that would be a major impact if it's an Asian Game event or an Olympic Game event. But I really don't contribute a lot of it to success of esports with Asian Games or Olympic Games. But the one thing I would request all the publishers to be present in India, to grow their games in India, to create a Indian ecosystem, which could be part of their global ecosystem, but they being in it. So one more example which I want to tell. The reason I shifted out of the coming back to gaming industries is that when I saw Riot making investments in India, starting its own office, planning to publish League of Legends, that is when I said, yes, this is a company I want to be part of it, because I strongly believe for any gaming title to be successful in India, they need to understand what India is, which
Yes.
like a guy taught me back in Paradox, is that don't treat India as one market. Look at India more like EU, where you have different countries, and yes, you the product could be same, but how you communicate that product to each state or each zone has to be very different. You can't have one strategy for India. You have to definitely have four strategies, one for north, south, east, west, but you need to actually go more granular. If you are trying to market your product in north, for Delhi, you have to be jazzy, flashy, and all that stuff. If you want to do it in Chennai, it needs to be subtle. So
Yes.
to get that feedback, you need feet on the ground. You need people who understand India. So I was very happy when Riot came to India, and I would request all the publishers to get a little bit of, or at least get insight into Indian psyche, because number of youth, we are the biggest country in the world to have number of youth. One state, which is UP, has more population than any EU country.
Yes.
Okay, so
Correct.
that is the potential. But how do you tap the potential into your customers or esports players? That is something work which the publishers need to do at their end, maybe together as a consortium or as individual guys. I don't know how they want to do it, but that is one thing which is critical. So I give all the kudos to Tencent for, and to my dear friend Anish for setting up Tencent in India, doing all the stuff locally, and that's where PUBG became what PUBG is.
Yep. So PUBG, man, do you think it will be back soon? I mean, they have appointed a new country head, but I'm still skeptical about it
Yeah,
making its
so
comeback. Yeah.
I think they would need to go through the process laid down by the government, which is
Yes.
they have to get approvals from the government to relaunch the game. So it will be back. Question is when.
When? Yeah.
Question is
So
when.
yeah, yeah, right, right. New title again, similar to PUBG, named 4G by Akshay Kumar
Yeah.
is there.
I
Have you
know.
tried it?
Fauji is the same game with which Vishal Gondal is back. It is
Aha.
Vishal Gondal. Vishal Gondal is also Vishal is part of co-founder of Encore, and this game has been developed by Encore.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah.
See, industry is very small, man, and especially for us old
Man.
guys, it is one or the other old friend who's getting back to the industry. So that's
Yeah.
for Fauji.
Wow. Man, it feels good. I mean, I'm feeling connected now, actually.
Yes, yes. And one more thing, Akshay, I would request you to do one episode with Vishal also.
I will for sure. I'll be. I was about to ask you for recommendations after this episode, man, and
Sure. Sure.
it will be
Yeah.
great, man. Thanks you
Yeah.
brought this up. I'll definitely contact Vishal.
And
Maybe if you can join along, then it will be a really great conversation.
I would love to. It would be fun. Me and Vishal discussing our old experience on the same stage.
It would be great. I think it would be great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You were
We'll,
saying
we'll do
something.
this. We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Definitely. Yeah. So about 4G, I was asking Anurag, have you tried it? I mean, on a personal level,
I have
I
not
haven't.
tried it. I have not tried the game because it's still not available even in terms of beta. So thankfully, Vishal has been sharing me with the cinematics which are already published on the social media. The
Yeah.
game is looking good. The game is looking good. Uh, I know Vishal for almost 20 years now, so I always used to call Vishal a guy with a Midas touch. Anything he touches turns into gold, man. I hope
Oh, Midas hand. Yeah. Yeah.
I am hoping the same thing for 4G and other
Oh wow,
games that will be published under his banner, man.
man! I got to have a word with Vishal.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Anurag. So now, very important questions. I would say even I am interested into this, and a lot of audience will also be interested to know this from you. So this is a very competitive world, Anurag. You already know, especially with these kind of industries who are rapidly growing. So how can anyone who is just starting out in the esports and the gaming industry, especially younger generation, can make it big? I mean, can set his name apart into the industry as a, and especially with the career perspective, the career point of view.
My only one recommendation would be, which was my recommendation even at Paradox side, that if you are a journalist, it won't work out for you. Like I get so many CVs with saying, "Sir, I want to work in esports industry. This is my CV." I'm like, "What do I do with it?" You need to be very clear. Yes, I great you send your CV, but trust me, for me it's like a piece of paper. As I said, I would like to interact with you, but for me to even make up my mind what to talk to you, I need to know what is your interest in esports, because esports is such a big field. You have got your production, you got your sponsorship, you got your sales and marketing, you got your events, you got your league operations, so many aspects. You need to be very clear that this is in esports, this is my career path. I think that is my first advice to anybody planning to enter, which could be part of their past journey, or it could be from scratch, because the
Yeah.
fundamentals to be there. Because see, uh, you might think that I am being a little bit of selfish here, but trust
Oh
me,
no.
none of the companies have time to teach guys. Okay, yes, we can polish you, but if we have to teach from the scratch, like a lot of people say, "Hey man, I want to do internship for you for free." I said, "No, I
Yeah.
don't want you to do for free for at all. I want you to, yes, if you don't have experience, but I want you to make money, but you have to be very clear which aspect you want to do it." Like when I invited the CVs for my this new venture, I said, "These are the 8 kind of roles I'm looking at. Please apply." Like a lot of people applied for 5 out of those 8, and they were not even related. Okay.
Okay.
I would send a mail back to them. "Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for getting back to me. But make up your mind." And these were the words which I used to use. "Make up your mind which position you're applying for." So I think
Got it.
one thing is, of course, to create your personal niche in that industry. You need to be very specific. Then also you need to hone those skills. Like I said, like gaming is esports is a sports event. So yes, a lot of stuff is very similar to sports. Your events are same, your sponsorship is same, your league ops is something which is additional in this, but like all traditional games which have league ops also here, but here it's more online league ops, whereas there it's physical league ops. So yeah, but these are the only minor changes. And I don't think the uh, me as a person, I don't care what your degree is now.
Yeah.
I don't care. As long as you are passionate, you understand what gaming is, and you want to be part of esports journey, please feel free. But make sure that this is what, according to you, you think you can contribute to the organization in this aspect. That is one thing I want you to be clear of. Of course, after discussing with the company, you can make up your mind. Okay, this is not the thing I want to do, this thing, which is okay, but that's an iterative process. But whenever you are applying, you should be very clear. This is my past experience, these are the skills I have, that's why I want to enter here.
Got it. Got it. Basically, self-awareness. You should.
Self-awareness,
Yeah.
self-awareness. Like I will share a secret with you. So generally, while I generally when I take interviews, I look at 3 aspects. Okay, because I am gonna have a 10,000 feet view. I look at, are you self-aware? Are you a gamer? And do you have player empathy? These are only 3 aspects
Okay.
which I'm gonna judge you. Rest is my guys down the line who are the specialists for that field. They will take your interview, but
Yes.
I don't even wanna waste their time. So I will take your first round, judge you on these 3 aspects. Then I'm gonna send the CV down. If I am convinced because finally I am and my team is responsible for delivery.
Great, great. So big shout out to anybody who has applied for Newgen at Newgen Gaming. Great, Anurag. I mean, this is some great stuff. I was actually looking for this answer. I was actually looking for this. Okay, so self-awareness, Anurag. Once, so let's dig more deep. Once anybody is self-aware and about what he wants to do, like not particularly at Newgen Gaming, but in general, as into esports. So how should he or she proceed with if once he's once they know like what they want to do? Because
My one advice would be to any new guy getting into the esports is that the amount of CVs, all the companies, which I am personally seen and would be true for other companies, is that number of CVs we get is like crazy. Okay, I
yeah,
want to create something which is more than CV. When I say more than CV, add more jazz into your CV. We don't want to see the piece of paper telling us this was your marks in graduation. We don't care. I am
yeah,
sure none of us companies care. Rather say these are the games I've been playing. Because even my discussions, especially me, I can tell about that. In my interview, the guy says I've been playing this game. I just throw questions around that game to actually understand what is his player empathy levels, what is his understanding of game. Like a lot of people, not here right now, but in Geo, they would be like, I want to join Geo Esports, and I play games like Candy Crush. I said, okay, sorry, it's
okay,
not going to work with you. Because nothing against Candy Crush, nothing you being as a casual gamer, but as I said, I unfortunately, though I would love, and that is the plan after 50, is to start a school for esports job hunters and players, but that don't have that time to actually get you basics of esports. So want you to be understanding the concept of esports. That all you should have studied. Like a lot of people, they have some great ideas, but since they are not gamers themselves, I don't me as in personally, I'm again talking from personal experience. I wouldn't
yeah,
like to hire. Okay, so I want you to research for esports, do research for that, and make sure, man, whenever you're sitting for this interview or especially talking to me, get your terminology right. Like I've heard terms like e-gaming. Yes, some esports is there, but people say I want to be part of e-gaming journey. I said, sorry, what is e-gaming?
yeah.
Please. Though it's the same thing as esports, what they meant, but
Yes.
that's that's not an icebreaker for me.
Agreed.
I want your CV to see what you have done rather than saying I was territory manager or media branch manager or brand manager for this company and this is what I've done. I'm not interested in that. Tell me what who can add value at my place.
I got it. Got it. But that is something, Anurag, you would say from a employee perspective or somebody who wants to enter the industry from like working as an employee side of it. What would you say to the youngsters who are actually trying to make it from the competitive side of it? I mean, the gaming side of it as a gamer.
Go
Yeah.
for it. Go for it. See,
Yeah.
the only my two pieces of advice is that listen guys, esports and gaming are two different. Yes, esports is subset of gaming, but gaming is more for enjoyment. Esports is serious. Like make sure you do a regime of playing the games. I don't want you to play games all day if you want to become a esports athlete, because unfortunately the average age for esports athlete is 18 to 25. Okay,
Mhm.
so I want you to practice, but also practice in such a way that it doesn't hamper your own health. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people tell me, hey man, I practice for 8 hours. I would say no, don't, because it would you would incur injuries, which is not injuries, physical injuries, but mental injuries. Because like any sports, it's a stressful regime that you have to follow. So follow a regime, pick up a game, and trust me, that game Anyway, games have their life cycle. The
Yeah.
only two games I've seen who have defied their life cycle is three games: Dota, CS:GO, and League of Legends. They have
Back.
defied their life cycles. But trust me, all games have a life cycle. But if one game goes, you can pick up the similar game like that. Like if you see India right now, most of CS:GO players have become Valorant pro players.
Yeah.
Games are
Correct.
same. So
Yes.
don't be fixed on one game, but yes, you should be fixed on one genre of game.
Genre. Yes. Got it.
It's so important to work on the genres, the finer aspects of the game. I know you being playing games for so long, you guys will be able to pick, but that is my one thing. Second, don't create as a stressful environment for you. As we have in gaming is a fucking toxic community, man.
Yep.
So, as when you're practicing, the way I used to practice games in my youth is I would turn off chat, turn off mic, turn off speakers, mute everyone, including myself, and then I used to play the game. So I think these are the two or three advices I would give to all the people who plan to take up the career as athlete. And you are aiming to be an athlete if you are esports. It's not a
Yes.
gamer. Okay. So please follow the regime. Take care of your mental health. Trust me, it's stressful playing games at the competitive level.
Yeah.
Please take care. Play a game for an hour, then 10 minutes you should take a walk out. You should be away from the screens or away from your PC if you're playing a PC based game. Take a break. Just bond together with your team. That is
Yeah.
one thing you need to do because, like, I can't reiterate more that, like any other sports, esports is a sport.
It is.
Follow the team. Don't put so much strain on yourself so that even your career is shortened because of nobody told you so.
Yes, so true, so true. Like with this, I can remember few of guys. I do have some relatives. I mean, kids in my relatives as my relatives who are, they are playing games like for whole days, and you know, they are really passionate about gaming, of course. But on the other side, parents have to say something else that kids should also focus on their studies. And so what is your take on that? Should they totally focus on gaming if they are trying to pursue as a career, or
No,
they should also do that?
no, I think it's all about balanced life, man. I'm totally in for balanced life. Uh, yes, if you're a student, you need to do studies also because, like cricket team, there are only 11 people who gonna represent the country, man. What about other? And could be 200 people who gonna represent in the IPL. Maybe 1,000 people who gonna represent in Ranji. What
Oh
about
yeah.
other? You have to take care of your career. And as I said, the career span for esports is 18 to 25. What are you
Okay.
gonna do after 25? So yes, being an athlete is a good thing, but again, athlete, especially being an athlete, there's a very small window of your life. So you
Okay.
need to look at balance. You need to have a look at your career. You need to do studies. I like my kid who's just 7 year old. Yeah, he's just like any other kid who goes and plays football outside, comes and practices at home, does his studies. It's a equal balance life. Though he's just 7, so there's no work pressure right now. So yeah, he can fool around with games more. But if he was in maybe 10th or 12th, I would have asked him, "Hey, you can play only 2 hours. Rest of the time, you go and play outside." Because your physical, though it's a esports, your physical healthiness is also very critical now.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So yeah, I'm very clear. If you want to become a esports athlete or if you are just enjoying the game, don't strain your eyes or strain your hands or whatever you're using.
Got it.
So my advice is simple: have a balanced life. Yes, if you are pursuing esports as an esports athlete, yes, you can have a regime of playing more of games, but not those 18 hours or 12 hours. I would say 4 hours of game practice as an esports athlete is good enough. But I wouldn't know, but that is my perception.
Got it. Got it. You need to maintain that balance.
Yeah.
Correct. 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 That was That was so helpful. I mean, I have a lot of kids in my family. They are struggling with this particular thing, that they're coming to me and they're asking to, they're asking me to have a word with their parents. But I said, I am no one, man. How can I talk to your parents? And especially when you are at such a younger age, you need to, maintain your curriculum also along
Sure.
with that,
No,
because agar yeah.
I completely agree with you. Yes, they have to have a balanced life, which, of course, if they want to pursue the career in gaming as a esports athlete, or they just want to enjoy the gaming, yes, feel free to play, but don't only play.
अगर नहीं हुआ तो what else?
ये अगर हो भी गया
हाँ,
अक्षय आफ्टर 25 तो क्या करेगा?
that is also, yeah, because teams are looking for young players, right? The athletes, I mean, young athletes, and they are constantly upgrading. So
Yes,
you know
yes, yes, yes. मतलब,
they might kick you out after 26 or something.
no, not kick you out. You will automatically take back because generally what I have seen, even internationally, after 25, your reflex actions become much poorer when you are 25. So because of those reasons, your competitive career comes down. But then there are examples of couple of kids I've met who were pro players, and right now they are working as team managers for esports team. They can become coaches. Yeah,
Okay.
but the numbers is very small. We are talking
Yes.
here about the general public,
Got it.
all the esports players, or all who want to pursue esports as a career.
That's correct. That's correct. I recently heard a news where a team hired an 8-year-old kid as a pro player. I mean, that's something
Yeah,
huge, isn't it?
I also read that. It
Yeah.
was for Fortnite.
Is it something that that the teams should do? Are they
No.
taking
So,
no, right?
if my memory serves right, this kid has been taken on as a content creator, because if you see, the pro player age for that game is based on the age restrictions by the title. Like all of these titles have ESRB or PEGI ratings. That is one part. So, like if a game is ESRB 13, a guy below age of 13 can't participate in that game and on the professional stage. Number one. Number two, from India perspective, the legal age for signing a contract, okay, the
Yeah.
team contract is 16. So if you're
Okay.
less than 16, I think either 16 or 18. I don't recollect clearly. But if you're less than 16, you can't officially sign a contract. Your signatures don't mean,
Acha.
okay. So that's
Yes.
why
Yes. Yes.
the pro players below age of 16 or whatever that age is. So that, I think that the player you're talking about, it is for Fortnite. It has been hired
Yeah.
by a company, by a organization as a content creator for their organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. All right. That should be that's great. So before we wrap up, Anurag, one last question. So this we are talking about individuals trying to make it into the industry. What would you have to say about the organizations who are trying to make it into the, like, most recent organizations? I mean, those who have just started out. So how can they set them apart from the crowd? I mean, there are a lot of organizations trying to get in, especially after in the couple of years, past couple of years. So what would you say to them?
I think
An advice.
the only advice I would have for them, one is that, listen, like in every other game, you will be number one, two, three, or number 18, which is again a flexible thing. Just stick with your roster. Give them chance. It's not that, it should not be that, hey man, one tournament you didn't perform, we are changing the roster. Trust me, it doesn't work as an ecosystem. Okay. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is that if you're playing as a team, play as a team.
Okay.
Number, you should also get coaches or managers. I know a lot of smaller organizations can't afford coaches, but treat it as a sporting event. So all that is required for a sporting event, you should have that in place. Of course, then, as I said, there'll be one number one team only. If you make it great, man, thumbs up to you guys. Like if you see a lot of the teams which have come into the picture right now, for different titles. Yes, there are gonna be different teams. We have never heard of those teams who have made it big in Indian esports ecosystem. So I think the space is there. It's just your hard work, your consistency that will yield you results.
Perfect, man. Perfect. I think we have covered a lot, Anurag. So, it's been 1.5 hour of conversation. Wow, I just didn't
Wow,
realize that, man.
it felt like 5 minutes back we started.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, man, exactly. I'm actually missing the other guy, Vishal. I'll
I will,
I'll
I will make
we'll,
sure Vishal joins your chai with Akshay. Trust me.
we will surely do that. I mean, I would like if you will also join. We three of us
Yeah,
can
yeah,
have a conversation. It
definitely,
would be really good. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Perfect, Anurag. So before I let you go, just a few more couple of short questions, I would say. So first, I want. So we already discussed. What would you say to the young enthusiast, right? So I want you to also, tell, say something to the parents who are whose kids are, trying to move towards the. So a message to parents. What would it be?
My message would be like anything in excess is bad. So is gaming. But make sure that if your kid loves games, let him play, but in moderation. And that is something which parents have to control. We as tournament organizers or game developers can't control. Okay, so that is something. But playing is not bad. That is one thing I wanna say for sure. But yes, in a moderate limit. So that's my message, and I want parents to encourage. Like all the parents encourage their kids to either take football training or practice cricket or play table tennis. You should also encourage them playing games. But as no, none of the kid plays cricket for 10 hours a day. You should not let your kids play computer games also for 10 hours.
Yeah, and this is coming from a parent. I mean,
Yeah.
somebody who is not just me. I mean, I'm 25. I don't know. So they will take your message into consideration for sure. If I'll say this particular thing, then they might not. But this is coming from a parent. So yeah,
So,
yeah. All the parents who is listening. One last question, Anurag. What would you say to me? I mean, me as a person, you would any feedback, suggestions, and advice to me if I want to grow into the space and in general, just an advice or feedback.
so Akshay, I want you to continue what you're doing. Trust me. I already look at you as a part of ecosystem, getting the message out to the right stakeholders. So just keep doing whatever you want to do, man. I'm with you. Trust me. Like I treat you as part of our ecosystem, and I want you to grow because that's how gaming would grow, man. It's not something which you can do, I can do on my own, or Geo can do. I don't mind even saying that. But we as a collective
Yeah,
fraternity need to take this message forward. And especially because there's so much negative perception about gaming.
it is.
We
Yeah,
need to break that stereotype image of gaming.
that was the sole purpose of starting this show, Anurag, and I
Good man.
hope I can make it. Yeah.
Great.
Great, Anurag. I think I have covered pretty much everything. And again, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And I just enjoyed the conversation. I didn't realize it's 1 minute, 1 hour and 40 minutes, man.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good. I love such kinds of interactions where it's open, no ready-made questions, nothing mailed. We just sit and chat. That's how I like
Yeah.
it.
That's it. I would not lie. I did some preparations and for the questions, but not exactly the questions. I just
Yeah,
noted down the
yeah.
topics that I wanted to discuss, and it was all raw. I loved it.
Thanks,
So
man. Thanks for
thank
having
you
me on.
so much. Thank you so much, Anurag. Thank you for joining the show. The first episode was a hit, I would say. I loved it. I
I
loved
want
it
you to make all your episodes a hit. That is what I'm gonna work with
for
you.
sure. For sure, Anurag. If I'll need anything, any suggestions, anything, I'll surely,
You know what
you know,
that
yeah, yeah. Perfect.
is.
Okay, Anurag. So I think we should be ending this. It's 1 hour 40 minutes, and again, it was a pleasure. Thank you,
Pleasure was
and
all
I hope to see you in some of our episodes in future with Vishal. We'll do it.
Definitely,
We'll surely do
definitely,
it.
definitely.
Perfect, Anurag. Thank you so much, man, for joining. I'll be disconnecting. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.